and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studio in New York City. A fusion of politics, commentary, entertainment, and sports. Steve and his team bring you the latest news and opinion now. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, welcome aboard the Steve Malzberg Show. The Hobby Lobby decision is in, and it was a 5-4 decision, and it came down on the side of Hobby Lobby. It came down on the side of religious freedom. We'll talk about that with Congressman Peter King in just a moment. We'll also be joined a little bit later on in the show by Alan Dershowitz. Our panel, our legal panel, a couple of attorneys, prominent attorneys will join us as well. So we have it all covered. Another decision said that unions, in particular healthcare workers in a particular union, cannot force those workers to join the union if they disagree with the leadership of that union. They've also expressed a willingness, the court did, to go further at a later time. So those are the two decisions from the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, we're waiting any second. The president is already 14 minutes late. He's going to give what many believe is an executive order dealing with immigration. How far he will go, we do not know. But that is momentarily approaching us as soon as the president takes to the podium, and we'll let you know what he says. Dick Durbin last week said that he's going to borrow the power to solve the immigration crisis if the Congress doesn't act today. John Boehner told the president there will be no vote on immigration reform in the House, prompting the president to call this press conference and in the Rose Garden at the White House. So we'll see what happens with that. We also have the threat from ISIS, and this is not a threat only to our allies, a threat to our interests in the Middle East. This is a threat to us here on the Homeland. We're going to talk about all that with Congressman Peter King, but first, we're all going to watch this. Watch this.
There is a problem that has been exposed, which is that there are now a group of women of an indeterminate size who no longer have access to free contraceptive coverage simply because of some religious views that are held not by them necessarily, but by their bosses. We disagree, and the constitutional lawyer in the Oval Office disagrees with that conclusion from the court. And that's why we, primarily because he's concerned about the impact that it could have on the health of those women.
All right, folks, there's the White House response to the Hobby Lobby case. As promised, here's Congressman Peter King, Republican from New York, member of the House Homeland Security Committee and chair of the Subcommittee on Counterterrorism and Intelligence. Congressman, great to talk to you again, my friend.
Always great to be with you. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. All right, there's so much going on that I can't even prioritize and put it in the order of importance. So let's start with what was just addressed there. The Hobby Lobby case coming down. They're now framing this as, again, as a war on women. The left is saying this is going to energize the Democratic base come November, which they didn't have energy before this decision. You buy into that, and what's your take on the decision today?
No, I fully support the decision. This was a case of religious freedom, and I find it interesting that many of these Democrats and liberals who want to get their picture taken with Catholic bishops and cardinals on issues they agree on are so quick to call a religious belief a war against women. I can understand someone being pro-choice. I'm pro-life myself, and I believe we should have laws protecting the unborn. And I believe that today's decision is actually just very simply a issue of religious freedom. But it bothers me when they throw around words like terms like war against women on what is really a very important constitutional issue of religious freedom and the respecting of someone's religious beliefs, which should be what this country is based on.
All right, let's move on to, well, of course, there was another decision on unions, but let's move on to the president. The president, was told by John Boehner today that the Congress will not be taking up immigration reform for the rest of the year, which prompted the president to say, hey, then I'm going out later today and I'm gonna make my own announcement on immigration reform. First of all, was immigration reform ever a possibility in the House this year?
I think it could have been a possibility of a limited immigration reform, but it would have required both sides to come together. It would have required the president to come down, from his high horse. But I would say over the last several months, no. I think for a brief moment there was a chance. But what really hurt the president was the issue of executive orders, of not enforcing current laws. And there was a feeling was if we do go through an immigration reform debate and negotiation and come up with a bill where both sides would have to give something, in the end it may not mean much because the president would just enforce it the way he wanted to anyway. So with the big issue being border security, and that was the main issue that Republicans had. They wanted to be sure before anything was done that there was strong, solid border security. That no matter what we put in the law, the president could just either end up not enforcing it or waiving it. So that really, even if the president was serious about immigration reform, that did more to undermine his position than anything. The fact that it would not be believed because he, again, has so often either refused to enforce the law or just goes ahead and writes his own laws, as he's done on Obamacare.
Well, of course, and that's the crux, I think, of the lawsuit, the John Boehner file. It's not really about, well, this president's numbers compared to the other president's numbers on executive orders or on recess appointments. It's about selective enforcement of laws, which is basically unprecedented. Agreed?
No, it really is. And, when you go through a legislative process and there is give and take and concessions are made and compromises are made, it's done for a purpose. And to go through all of that and then just have a president waive it or ignore it, it goes against the whole spirit of the legislative process, of the constitutional process of separation of powers. And so, yeah, he's lost credibility, and there's no doubt about it. Listen, he's lost credibility with foreign leaders overseas. He's lost credibility with members of Congress, and I think the polling shows he's lost faith and confidence from the American people.
One more on this. So an executive order issued by the president on immigration will be greeted by you and your colleagues as how?
Well, first of all, we have to see what's in it. But if he's just writing laws on his own, then again, this can be added to John Boehner's lawsuit, or it may be the appropriate response may be to find types of funding that can be cut off to enforce what he's trying to do. But it's definitely going to war with a co-equal branch of government. And for a person who is going to bring us all together, blue states and red states, into the United States, he's certainly going about it the wrong way.
All right, there's a report now, Congressman, and you were on the Sunday shows yesterday and did a brilliant job, I might add. There's reports today that they're considering new airport security regulations to combat this possible new form of explosive that cannot be detected. They could put it in toothpaste, whatever. We went through this, it seems, months ago, but now it's reemerged as a threat because of what ISIS is doing. Talk about the danger that not our interests in the Middle East or our allies, but talk about the danger to the homeland, to here in New York and elsewhere in this country, we are now facing because of ISIS, what they've done, who belongs to them, the passports they have, how they could get into this country. Educate us.
Yeah, we are right now, I say, in a more serious position than we were after 9/11 because Al-Qaeda has morphed and metastasized into a number of different groups. The most lethal is ISIS, which actually is technically is separated from Al-Qaeda, even though there is still a strong alliance there. ISIS is focused in Iraq and Syria. They don't consider it Iraq and Syria. They consider it one Islamic state. And they are also were concerned that they would be involved with Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, which operates out of Yemen. And we know that over the past several years, they've actually had scientists come in, and they are working on bombs and explosives that can be carried onto planes without being detected. So that's the real concern here. Now, without going into any real detail, let me just say that is a real concern. But what adds to it is you'll have thousands of Europeans and well over 100 Americans go to Syria to fight on the side of the Al-Qaeda allies, either al-Nusra or ISIS. They're getting very, very sophisticated terrorist training. Those thousands of Europeans come from countries that are called visa waiver countries, which means they can go back to Europe and fly into the United States without having to get a visa. So, again, keeping track of who those thousands of them are, where they're going, and when they're coming into the U.S. is very, very difficult, and we need to be cooperating entirely closely with our allies. That's going to be difficult. Secondly, you have those from the United States itself who have gone over to Syria and can come back here to the United States. And it's bad enough if they are terrorists, just, conventional terrorist training. If they have training in explosive devices that are difficult to detect, that really makes it that much worse, which is why it's important that we get airports overseas, which if the destination is going to be the United States, there has to be increased security measures. I really can't go any further than that.
Right.
Say it's a real concern.
And you expect airport security here to change their or enhance their checking for this new type of explosive in the near future?
It will be here, but actually the real concern is overseas. The planes coming from overseas into the U.S.
Right.
And many of these countries just do not have the tight security. They're lax. Their equipment is not as sophisticated as it should be.
Okay, so it's mostly...
You have to insist that it be upgraded.
Right. One more, real quick, Congressman. Of course, the 3 Israeli teenagers who were missing were found this afternoon. Israel with an emergency cabinet meeting. What do you expect?
Strong action has to be taken. I mean, this shows how impossible it is to deal with these governments that have terrorists in them.
But we're supporting them financially and otherwise still.
Well, we shouldn't be now. I mean, this makes it clear that we should not be. We should be taking severe action against the financial, and we should also support whatever, and I want to emphasize that, military action Israel wants to take in response to this.
Congressman, thank you. We covered a lot of ground. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Take care. Congressman Peter King, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Lots to get to, and we're going to talk about most of this with the panel, mostly the Hobby Lobby case, the case against that some view as a ruling against unions as well, handed down by the Supreme Court earlier today. So don't go away. We're coming back. The Malzberg panel is next, only on Newsmax Television on the Steve Malzberg Show. Stay where you are.